And hello again, Blended Family Nation, and time to be with you again and talk to some of the best and brightest out there as we work to serve blended families and single parents and even grandparents from time to time. My guest today is Jill Curtis. I think you're going to enjoy Jill. Her background, she is a professional clinical counselor, and for over a decade, she's been involved in working with people. She has extensive experience in hospital settings and rehabilitation and mental health centers. One of the things I was excited about as I got to know Jill is that she was involved in starting a program and led a program called Fighting to Preserve Families. And that was in a mental health agency. And it's very educated. She's got a degree in criminal justice and political science, as well as a master's in counseling. And she is an education specialist. She has an education specialist degree. What's important about that is when you look at all the different types of degrees, it's above a master's. A specialist is just one dissertation away from getting that doctorate. So we're just happy to have Jill. Another program she started, she'll probably tell us about these programs, Reconnect. It's designed to help families stay closer and connected. And with that, Jill, welcome to Blended Family Nation. Glad to have you. And why don't we, since we're just getting acquainted today with our viewers, why don't you share a little bit about your story and how it all ties into this USABFA Blended Family Nation?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's good to be here. Um, my story began when I was younger, as a child, actually. My parents separated, got divorced when I was about 5. And about 10 years old is when my dad remarried, and I went into a blended family. So then, growing up in a blended family, stepbrothers, stepsisters, all that fun stuff. And now, just recently, I am entering into a blended family again. So my boyfriend, he has 2 kids. And so I'm excited to share my journey with you and see how that goes and see if I can give you any insight or input from my own experience.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's powerful. So as a child, you've been there. We always say to the blended family nation, you're not alone. You are not alone. So as a child, she understands what a child might be thinking. She understands it as an adult, and now she's on the journey with Ben to create a new blended family. So that's kind of exciting. So in all that experience that you've been there firsthand, as you've been doing your counseling for almost 13, 15 years, um, the those that come in to seek your wisdom and counsel and encouragement, what experience have you had? Is it pretty prevalent as far as the numbers? Share a little bit about that.
It is very prevalent, actually. I work with many clients in relationships, and a lot of those relationships have problems, difficulties, kids. And now with the blended families, I've seen a lot of those issues and problems come up. They usually present as a couple coming in for couples therapy, and there's some conflicts or issues that they want to work on as they blend the families, or they've already been blended and they really need help navigating that process. So I've also seen individuals come in. I help them how to navigate with being a step parent, their roles, what they want, how they want to be involved, what's best for the kiddos, that type of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. What we've found, and in our research, obviously, we talk about there's 29 million blended family households. So that's 58 million husbands and wives out there. And then, of course, when you add the grandparents, it's no longer just 2 sets of grandparents, it's now 4 sets of grandparents on each side. And so there's close to probably 90 to 100 million grandparents, which they don't always fully understand. They're kind of the forgotten group in this whole blended family. But you mentioned couples come in. We never want to forget, and we do have programs that support and listen to and encourage children at USA BFA, because we never want to forget it's a 360 degrees. How do the children feel? Jill, you got background. You were a child in that environment, so you know what a child might be thinking. We want to think about single parents because they're welcome in USA BFA, because sooner or later they may get married, just as you and Ben are marching down the journey to a blended family. And we're excited about, because Ben is also in the arena of working with youth, especially in his role in counseling and coaching. And so you two were talking about folks, encouraging Ben and Jill to put together a program that helps people on the journey to becoming a blended family. But you've seen that. What would you say if you could think of the two biggest challenges that you're presented as a professional clinical counselor? Obviously, communication is one, and emotions. But can you think of one or two of the giants that you see so that people know, hey, gosh, that's just what I'm facing. I'm not alone. A couple
Yeah,
of them.
absolutely. A lot of people come in and I work with conflicts with how to handle exes, right? And the other parent. There's so many variables that go into that, depending on how the kids are, how the step parent responding to the ex, how the ex is responding to the step parent. So a lot of conflictual problems there in relationships and how to handle that, which is could be great and difficult all at the same time, right? Cause a lot of problems. So I work with that. How do you handle that conflict? What to do during that time? What role does the step parent play in that time? Which usually I tell, like the step parent to, back off. That's, your input. You need to step away from that and let the parents take care of that, the conflict together. That communication you said, which is that's communication right there. Is how do you communicate, with the ex, as well as the children involved, and how do you communicate and make the children feel safe and feel okay during that process and that conflict between the two parents. And a lot of the times I see
Yeah.
kiddos too, right? The kids come in, dad's talking about mom, mom's talking about dad. I'm in the middle. I don't know what to do. And so I help the kids with that as well. So,
Boy, bingo, bingo. Those are two of that's really probably the giant one. We're currently doing a survey. So if as you're watching this, when you go to the USABFA website, there's a survey you can click on because we're collecting data on what are the top topics that we want our experts like Jill Curtis to talk about. And you nailed it one. It's the classic, I wish I knew then what I knew now. And I know for me, I experienced that conflict, all over America on a Friday night or a Friday afternoon. There's going to potentially be an exchange time of children from mom's house to dad's house or dad's house to mom. It doesn't always happen on Friday, but typically that's the way that it is. And there's always that moment, and you nailed it, Jill, is that the child, those little eyes, depending on how old they are, if they're little, they're watching mom, dad, and they can read mom and dad's emotions. And those children just want to be loved. Like you said, they just want to be accepted and loved. And, we will talk about more in the future as a non-biological, a stepmom, the term, to kind of pause or back off a little bit because the biological mom wants respect, the biological dad wants respect, and sometimes one of the errors that takes place, which you've probably seen this, is that a man or a woman comes in with the stepchildren. Oh, I'm going to be a better parent to them than their other, which the kids, depending on the situation, very rare do you have, uh, uh, the biological parent that's so bad that that's a good situation. So what we'll talk about, and as you mentioned, how as a step parent, we don't like to use that term, but that's the technical term, to kind of pause and back off, just be there in love and support, and and do your best to understand what that other parent might be feeling because they may be jealous in the situation of the new other parent. Certainly, they care about their children. They want to make sure their children are all good when they're at the other house, and so we're going to talk about that a lot in the months to come. In some of these programs that you have started in your experience and reconnecting and strengthening families, is there any one or two things that stands out that you've found that how families got there, where they were disconnected or why they have a need to reconnect or be strengthened? Is there anything that you can encourage viewers, moms, dads, even children or grandparents, as how to make sure up front and out front we protect that environment of connection to each other.
That's right. First and foremost, it's the relationship building and the bonding that needs to happen. A lot of the times, kids will. What would you say? The kids will go against their parents, right? Um, not respect parents. So there's a breakdown in that relationship, right? And typically, it gets when the kids are getting older, and there's that dynamic between dad and son or mom and daughter or vice versa, where it's just a breakdown in that love, that respect. So what I really wanted to do was provide like a 5-day like kind of retreat, right? Program where it was just all about relationship building. And so that's what we do is a lot of the relationship building activities, communications to and how to communicate to each other. Um, it's I have parents come in and say, they just don't respect me, right? Or they don't respect my partner. Well, you don't automatically get respect, right? You have to earn it. And if you don't bond with that child and that relationship is not strong, they're not going to respect you. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to do what you say, right? They're just going to keep on opposing you. So I tell parents, go do something fun that they like to do, or even do something fun the parent likes to do. Because if it's fun for the parent, then you're going to want to do it. And then you're going to have fun with the kiddo if they want to do the same thing, or spend one on one time with them, right?
Yeah.
Uh, don't be critical, just really focus on fun. And that has really helped a lot of relationships. And then they can communicate better, get along better, and the kids tend to listen to them easier.
Yeah. Oh, that's so powerful, Jill, because it's investing the time. We in this world, especially when you have a large family and this time of year, we got school starting in the morning, we got activities, after school activities, we got weekend activities, soccer games, football games, volleyball games, or some people play basketball all year round. And so there's so many things going on that sometimes we're just bing, 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 going so many places. And as you and I have gotten to know each other and talk about this, is sometimes just taking 7 seconds and just saying, let me just look at you. And you just tell a child, hey, I care about you. I'm here for you. Anything you need. And just know I love you, whether you're biological or non biological. That's powerful when a child thinks, wow, they looked into my eyes and did that. And it sounds like with your retreats, and maybe with some encouragement from the Blended Family Nation, from USA BFA members, maybe we can create a hybrid that maybe you and Ben can do over a series of weeks where people can tune in online. You and Ben can coach them through some tips, and that would be something fabulous for our viewers. Well, folks, we've been talking with Jill Curtis, licensed professional clinical counselor that deals with, I think, as we talked about, you think probably 70+% of your clientele has been impacted by being a child of divorce, with maybe some parent issues, or a person that's a single parent or in a new relationship. And that's what we say of in America today, every week, when you count those in a blended family, the single parents, all the children, and especially the grandparents, which are often forgotten, probably about 260 million of our 340 million Americans are impacted every week by what we're talking about. And so grandparents are invited to get engaged in this. Grandparents are invited to buy their son or daughter, invest in the $47 a year, less than $4 a month, to get the kind of wisdom that you get from Jill Curtis and others. And so that's why USABFA exists. That's why we have this multiple times a week, the Blended Family Nation program. So Jill, I just want to thank you on behalf of all of America and the blended family, single parents and kids out there. If what our hopes is, we'll be visiting with you a lot, folks, and be sure, and if you would, wherever you're viewing this on social media, like this interview, share it with your friends, and let them know, hey, there's a program out there that week in, week out is trying to help people who are just like us. So you're not alone. Thanks for tuning in. USABFA.com. Go there now. And Jill, Curtis, thank you so much for being with us, and we hope to talk to you again soon.